What's up guys? In this video, I'm going to give you 3 different Instagram carousel templates so that you can just dump your content or your ideas into Claude. Claude will then go ahead and design all those carousels for you from beginning to end. But if you're just using the same templates again and again, you'll become a one-trick pony. Your content will get old very quickly. That's why if you stick around, I'll also show how you can take these generic looking templates and make creative looking cover pages that will make your content a lot more clickable and will keep things looking nice and fresh. I'll also be including this setup guide along with the skills you need so that you can get this project up and running yourself. You can either follow it step by step, or you can just give it to Claude and have it set everything up for you. Okay, so before I show you how this works, I want to show you what the templates actually look like. So there are 3 templates that I have inside a skill that we'll be using to populate our content in. So this is the template that I'm going to use in this video. And don't worry about the content that's in there right now. This is just for demo purposes, because what's actually going to happen is you are going to give Claude your own content. And so this one is a 6-slide template, but we also have an 8-slide template. And lastly, we also have a 4-slide template. And each of them look a little bit different with the designs. So let's walk through this from start to finish so you can see how it works. Now, like I said, you can dump in your content, your ideas, you can give it a script, you can give it as little or as much information as you want so that it can design these carousels. And so I'm just gonna give it a vague idea of what I'm looking for so you can see it in action. And remember, you do have to pick what template you're going to use. There's 3 templates, so I'm just gonna tell it what I want and what template I wanna use. Hey Claude, I want you to make me a carousel using template number 2, and I want it to be about how AI workflows can save you a ton of time in your working hours by eliminating repetitive tasks and giving you an opportunity to work on things that require more brain power. So I've sent that to Claude. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to design a script for me. As you can see, it has an Instagram carousel skill. That's what it's referring to. Inside that skill is where the templates lie. It's going to tell me what content it's going to put in each of the carousels. And from there, I can make any edits I so choose to. So it's now gone through the skill and it's giving me the content that it wants to add to each of the slides. Now I've limited this to, I believe, like a 20-word slide limit. So that's why it's telling you the number of words on each slide. And usually I'd run through this a little more meticulously, but because this is for demo purposes, I'm just going to approve the content it gives me. So now I'm just going to say approved and see what it does. And so now it's giving me the HTML mockups that also come in a PNG form so that I can actually download them and do whatever I want with them. But let's take a look at this. So it says, stop doing the work AI can do, 4 repetitive tasks to hand off to AI and reclaim your focus. Part 1, AI writes your first draft. 1 piece, 4 formats. Research in minutes, not hours. Map a full week in minutes. Build your first AI workflow. So that right there is how you can set up just the generic looking templates. But of course, if you want people to actually be clicking on your carousels, you're going to need something that's just a little more kind of appealing to the eye, a little more outrageous maybe. Something that's going to stand out from the crowd is basically what I'm saying. And because of that, I have this project set up in such a way where you can supply an image to Claude. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you a prompt that you can bring over to an AI generation model. And it will emulate that design while also making sure that it stays in line with the template itself. So basically it will take the aesthetics of whatever template you're using and it will create a prompt for a design that will be mapped onto that. And because of that, I'm actually going to change my cover page a little bit. If you see the wording right here, there's not a whole lot I have to work with for any kind of visual image. So I'm going to change this to something along the lines of save time with AI. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go over to Pinterest, and what I've done is I've typed in the word clockman. If you've seen in my videos lately, I seem to be obsessed with the idea of a clockman, but I'm going to use this as the way of visualizing saving time. So I'm just going to grab one of these images. You could download it, but instead I'm just going to grab my snipping tool. Copy that, go back over to the chat, paste the image in. So now I'm going to tell Claude to make a prompt for this image and also to change the cover page a little bit so that the wording actually matches the image. And by the way, this project knows to do this. I have a file in here that allows it to basically make a prompt for Nano Banana 2 for the cover page. If you don't want to use Nano Banana 2, you could easily change this so that basically it just designs a prompt for whatever model you use. Hey Claude, I want to redesign the cover page, so give me a prompt for this image. I also want the writing of the cover page to focus on how AI can save you time, with the keyword being the word time. So make sure that's in there. Okay, so you see it's made the prompt. It's giving me the title, the headline, and also the sub-headline right here, and that will make its way inside this prompt. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm using Google Flow for this because you can use Nano Banana 2 basically for free. It's pretty awesome. I have a pro account, but even with a free account, I think you get like 50 free generations a day or something like that. It's insane. One thing I will just remove is the aspect ratio and the 2K resolution, because inside Google Flow, you could select that in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep it on 3.4. And when I download it, you can choose the resolution. So let's see what it comes up with. So these are the 4 designs it's given me. This is from template number 2. I've noticed that template kind of goes for more of the comic book style design, but let me just show you some of the other designs I've made for using the other templates. So here are some of the designs it gave me earlier for one of the other templates, and obviously I chose a different design inside Pinterest too. And then here's some of the designs it gave me for, I believe this was template number 1. And again, I probably just typed in like light bulb man. I don't know. It seems like I'm obsessed with taking regular people and then replacing them with some kind of object for their head. But yeah, I probably grabbed like this image here or something, I don't know. So last but not least, let me give you a breakdown of how this project is set up. So as we already saw earlier, we have our carousel skill. That's what contains all of our templates, along with the instructions of what it needs to do in order to actually create the carousels. This includes such things as rendering the HTML, creating PNG downloads, accessing the fonts, and instructions on how to actually stay locked to the template. What I mean by that is making sure that you don't run over a certain word limit that's going to make your page look too busy, staying within the formats. And actually, let me give you a visual of what that looks like too. So you see in here, it's got the squirrely braces. That's basically saying once you decide on what the content is, what the writing is, pipe that into here so that we maintain the exact layout. And again, making sure that it doesn't go over any kind of word limit, because imagine if you had like 100 words, it's not going to fit on a page very well. But that's not all that we have. We also have the content pillars, and this would be the only manual aspect from your end. Basically, if I go into the actual project, inside this we have the context. That's where we have a few separate files. So for example, the content pillars, this is what you would fill in yourself. You don't have to, like, basically what you can do is you can tell Claude to create this file for you just by asking you some questions, but it's going to include things like your niche, who your target audience is, even things like words to avoid. Like, I don't like the word silent or silently. It's just very obviously AI when you see those words, and also M dashes, but looks like I spelled it wrong, but it probably picked up on what I meant. And then we also have the prompt guide. The prompt guide is if you decide to do that custom image cover page. So let's go back over there. Let's take a look at this. It's basically a set of instructions right now designed for Nano Banana Pro 2. But like I said, you can change the model in this guide if you want to, for whatever AI image model you're using. But it's instructing it when to use it, only if they ask, and basically telling it, make sure that it maps onto the templates that you have inside that skill so that it just doesn't look completely different. So that like the background colors, the font and everything still kind of has that continuity with your templates. And then finally, we also have the instructions. That is basically just determining the sequence of events of all these files. Really, the skill is doing the main legwork here, but the instructions is basically saying, hey, go take a look at that skill, refer to the content pillars, use the prompt guide if needed. It's just determining the sequence of events when they need to occur. And the instructions you can see are right here. It also includes a couple other things like your handle. If you want to add your handle into the template, I didn't include it in this one, but if you want your @ handle in there, you can add your @ handle. And a big thing that these instructions are really doing is it's basically just saying, don't go rogue, refer to the skill, because the skill has all the information you need. So don't try and do something that we didn't ask you to do, basically. Because if it does go rogue, your templates aren't going to look consistent and they're going to start to have mistakes. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, all the files that you will need that we just went over, in addition to the actual setup guide that you can just give to Claude and it will do all this for you, that will be in the description below. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, take it easy.